Hey guys, welcome back to Ace Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain a 2024 fantasy adventure film titled Damsel. Heads up, spoilers ahead. You've been warned. In the vast kingdom of Aurea, the king and his soldiers prepare to hunt a dragon. They enter an underground cave, weapons in hand, moving cautiously forward. Suddenly, the dragon strikes, eliminating the soldiers in a single swoop. Using its tail, it wipes out the remaining warriors. Finally, the dragon approaches the king, who pleads for his life, knowing the end is near. A few centuries later, in the north, sisters Elodie and Floria are seen chopping wood. They are the daughters of a local lord, doing their best to help their village, which is struggling due to food shortages and the harsh winter destroying their land. A carriage approaches, an unusual sight since they rarely get visitors. They hurry home to find their father, Lord Bayford, and their stepmother, Lady Bayford, speaking with a red-robed priestess. As the priestess departs, she cryptically states, "Elodie will do." Elodie asks her father about the visitor, and he explains that the priestess brought a marriage proposal from the kingdom of Aurea. Initially opposed, Elodie listens as her father explains that accepting the proposal is crucial for their village's survival. Later, as Elodie and Floria sail toward Aurea, Lady Bayford warns her to make a good impression, because nothing says romance like marrying for your father's financial problems. Suddenly, the ship's horn blares as they enter a thick mist. The passengers grow uneasy at the eerie figures looming in the dark, only to realize they are approaching dragon-like structures. Upon arrival, the family is left in awe of the kingdom's grandeur. A caretaker welcomes them, and Floria is captivated by the palace's beauty. Elodie, while admiring the kingdom, feels a growing sense of unease. In her room, her father checks on her, but she confesses her worries about Henry's character. Filled with mixed emotions, she wonders about her future and whether she truly belongs in this place. Later, Elodie steps onto her balcony, enjoying fresh fruit while taking in the breathtaking view. She notices a mysterious woman on a distant balcony. They exchange smiles, but something about the woman unsettles Elodie before she disappears into her room. That night, unable to sleep, Elodie distracts herself by drawing. Stepping outside for fresh air, she glances toward the woman's room but finds it dark. Instead, she notices someone walking on the mountain. Elodie confides in Floria, expressing how much she wishes their late mother were alive to guide her through these life-changing decisions. The next day, Elodie meets Queen Isabel, who greets her and then suggests she spend time alone with Henry. Elodie and Henry have a pleasant conversation, getting to know each other. Henry compliments her heartfelt letters and artistic skills. They manage to escape their guards and ride into the countryside on horseback, sharing their dreams of adventure. Elodie, after knowing Henry for only 5 minutes, is already running away with him. Classic fairy tale logic. Henry explains their ancestral ceremony, which honors their forebears, and how this tradition determines their wedding date. Back at the palace, Queen Isabel and Lord Bayford finish a private conversation. Lady Bayford, sensing something is off, questions her husband, but he brushes off her concerns. Lady Bayford later approaches Queen Isabel, attempting to build a rapport. However, the Queen dismisses her, emphasizing boundaries and subtly reminding her of her lowly origins as a ropemaker's daughter. When Lady Bayford corrects the Queen's mispronunciation of Elodie's name, the Queen pointedly ignores her. Tense and suspicious, Lady Bayford confronts Elodie and Floria about the unusual aspects of this arrangement, suggesting the wedding should be called off. Before they can discuss further, Lord Bayford enters and sends everyone to bed. The next day, Elodie is dressed for the ceremony. She is given a beautiful gown, a blunt dagger, and a perfume diffuser. She looks radiant as she walks down the aisle, all eyes on her. Elodie and Henry exchange vows, sealing their union with a kiss. She is crowned and officially declared the Princess of Aurea. After the ceremony, she bids an emotional farewell to her father, stepmother, and Floria before leaving with Henry in a carriage. They are taken to a mountain cave for an ancient ceremony. The eerie atmosphere unsettles Elodie. Inside, a group of people wearing golden masks awaits, including the red-robed woman, who is revealed to be Queen Isabel. The ceremonial robes give off ominous vibes. The Queen hands Elodie a coin, telling her it represents her role in protecting the kingdom. She explains that their ancestors fought a giant dragon that once terrorized their village. To honor the king's sacrifice, every generation must partake in a ritual involving a sacred pact and a blood sacrifice. Queen Isabel cuts both Henry and Elodie's palms, marking her initiation into the royal bloodline. After tossing a ceremonial coin into the chasm, Elodie assumes the ritual is complete. Henry lifts her in his arms as if carrying her to the carriage. then suddenly apologizes and throws her into the abyss. Wondering this might be the worst honeymoon surprise in history. Elodie plummets, crashing through bushes before landing, bruised and disoriented, in total darkness. She attempts to climb out but falls again. Her cries for help echo through the cavern, but no one responds, except for a massive creature awakening in the shadows. It's the dragon. Desperate, Elodie tears at her jewelry, trying to find a way to climb again. As she stumbles, she notices other jewelry scattered across the ground, belongings of past princesses who were sacrificed just like her. A faint glow catches her eye inside the cave. As she moves toward it, she discovers a small bird engulfed in flames. She tries to extinguish the fire with dirt, but it's too late, the bird is already dead. Suddenly, a deep roar shakes the cave as hundreds of flaming birds appear, only to drop lifeless moments later. The dragon approaches, towering over her. Terrified, Elodie whispers a plea to her mother for strength. The dragon, hearing her, speaks in a deep, rumbling voice. It declares that every generation must pay, recognizing her blood and understanding that she has been deceived. The dragon reveals its favorite place to run, and so does she. As it unleashes fire behind Elodie, she desperately searches for a place to hide. A charred body appears before her, and she realizes it's the same woman she saw on the balcony. Elodie hears the dragon's roar again and tries to move forward, but her dress gets caught in the crinoline. As the flames approach, she barely escapes but injures her leg in the process, screaming in pain. The dragon hears her but cannot reach her due to its massive body. She uses a blunt dagger to tear off a piece of her clothing and wraps it around her wounded leg. Then, she unties the diffuser from her waist, lights it, and uses it as a lantern. As she moves deeper into the cave, her dress gets caught again, and she stumbles into a pit, extinguishing the light. Determined, she presses forward, using the wall for support, and spots a distant light. After a painful trek, she nearly collapses but steadies herself and throws her wedding ring into the pit. She prepares for a big jump but nearly falls into an abyss. Fortunately, her belt catches on a rock, giving her just enough time to use her dagger to pull herself up. She notices shining crystals and glowing insects, tearing off her puffy sleeves to collect them for light. As Elodie ventures further, thirst overwhelms her. She takes a sip from a small puddle but spits it out due to its awful taste. Then, she spots water dripping from a small lake, like a hidden underground oasis. As she takes a few drops, she notices the crystals melting and a red light appearing. To her horror, the dragon lurks above. Elodie runs and stumbles into a small hidden chamber where the beast cannot reach her. Carvings on the walls warn that this is a safe place, but names of past captives cover the walls. Among them, she finds a V carved as Victoria. She wonders if anyone has ever escaped. She checks her injury, but it remains unchanged. The freezing temperature intensifies, and she begins hallucinating, seeing the ghosts of past victims haunting her. Suddenly, she snaps out of it and finds glowing insects covering her injured leg. Terrified, she tries to brush them off, only to realize their slime is healing her burn. She applies them to her other wounds, realizing while rich people have skincare serums, cave survivors have bug slime. She discovers a map detailing an escape route and notices that one of the captives successfully escaped. The middle path, following the glowing crystals and the sound of distant music, leads outside. She tears off unnecessary parts of her dress and adds her name to the wall. Eventually, she reaches a cave filled with dazzling crystals. Mesmerized, she spots a crown with the letter V engraved, Victoria's crown. She finally sees a practical use for royal jewelry, embedding a crystal into it for extra light. Elodie climbs the crystals using Victoria's crown for support, but one of the hooks snaps, sending her tumbling. She hears the dragon's roar again but somehow manages to climb to the top, only to find no way forward. Devastated, she breaks down in tears. Suddenly, she spots a group of riders approaching on horseback. She waves and calls for help, but her voice alerts the dragon. It reappears, roaring in the distance. Stepping back, she notices another carving on the wall, not safe in the lifeless body of Victoria. That means no one ever truly escaped. As the dragon prepares to unleash fire upon her, distant voices echo through the cave. It's her father, leading an army in search of her. He enters with 2 knights and a guide, declaring that no one will leave until he finds his daughter. Elodie turns back and spots 3 broken eggshells, the dragon's children, slaughtered by the king. The dragon, seeking revenge, destroyed everything in flames. As the king stands before the beast, it tells him death would be too easy, he must suffer as it did. Elodie realizes everything was a lie, orchestrated by Queen Isabel, who sacrificed women to keep the royal bloodline pure. As the soldiers continue their search, Elodie hides. The dragon begins its rampage, slaughtering the soldiers, crushing some under its paw and throwing others from great heights. It then approaches Lord Hayford, who bravely confronts the beast, pleading for Elodie's life. The dragon commands him to summon her, but he refuses, apologizing to her and instructing her to stay hidden. Enraged, the dragon impales him with its claws and resumes its hunt for Elodie, but a soldier's distraction gives her time to escape. Elodie bids her father a final goodbye. He warns her that Queen Isabel and Floria are on a ship, telling her to run. She escapes using a rope and her father's horse, hiding under the stones. Meanwhile, the Queen witnesses the broken deal and, in fury, captures Floria. Lady Bayford attempts to intervene but is stabbed by the Queen. As the fire subsides, Elodie regains consciousness and spots her stepmother, realizing Floria has been taken. The Queen, in her wickedness, plans to use Floria as bait. Henry protests, insisting she is just a child, but he fails to stop his mother. Without hesitation, the Queen sacrifices Floria, dumping her into the pit. By the time Elodie arrives at the cave, everyone is gone. Determined to save Floria, she cleverly uses her rope and jumps inside. With her previous knowledge of the cave and the glowing insects, she devises a plan to escape. She sets a trap using metal armor, a rope, and a small flame to create a diversion. The dragon, captivated by Floria, doesn't kill her immediately, expecting her sister to come to her rescue. When the metal clatters, the dragon turns its attention to the sound. Taking advantage of the distraction, Elodie hides Floria. Though she can't get her out yet, she promises her stepmother she will fight the dragon and ensure Floria's safety before confronting the beast. Elodie tries to reason with the dragon, explaining that they've been deceived by the Queen. But the dragon refuses to listen, breathing fire at her. Elodie stabs its mouth but is thrown into the water, injuring herself again. As she resurfaces, Floria tosses her a sword. Before Elodie can grab it, the dragon pins her down with its claws. Just as the dragon is about to finish her, she stabs its eye with a knife. Making sure it's nothing personal, just a little eye surgery. And now with the sword, she strikes the dragon's chest, not enough to kill it, but enough to force it to release her. She then stabs its paw, causing it to drop her. Realizing the air is flowing differently, Elodie forms a plan. In a dramatic twist, she outsmarts the dragon, using its own fire against it. Wounded, the dragon retreats. She shows it the blood on her palm, proving the Queen's ancestral line has been responsible for the innocent women's deaths. Realizing it has been tricked, the dragon asks Elodie to end its life. But, showing kindness, she heals the beast's wounds with the glowing worms. Back at the castle, the Queen arranges another wedding for Henry. But Elodie crashes the ceremony, throwing the same coin that was once tossed into the pit. She exposes the truth, revealing what a real ruined wedding looks like. She gives the people a chance to escape before declaring the Queen's reign over. At that moment, the dragon appears, setting the entire kingdom ablaze. Henry accepts his fate, and the dragon engulfs the royal family in fire. As destruction unfolds, Elodie bids farewell to Floria and her stepmother. She and the dragon set sail, leaving the past behind in search of a new home. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more amazing videos. Thank you for watching.